This is page 272. This is the guided practice for lesson 10.2. The directions read, evaluate each expression for the given values of the variables. So the way this is going to work is they're going to give us a math problem. It's going to look confusing, except for that it's going to be pretty simple as soon as we take out the variable and we replace it with the number given to us. So for example, number 1 is x minus 7, but the value of x right here it says is 23, so we're going to take x out and replace it with 23. So this problem is very simply 23 minus 7. The answer is 16. Number 2 is 3 right next to a minus b. And 3 right next to a means 3 times a. Now we need to go find the value of a. It's over here. It says a equals 4. So I don't write it as 3 right next to 4 like this because that looks like 34. I write it as 3 parentheses 4 because it's 3 times 4. And then I need to subtract b, so it's minus 6. 3 right next to 4 is 12, and 12 minus 6 is 6. The answer is 6. All right, let's move on. I think I can leave the answers on there. The answer was 16 and then 6. And we are on number 3. It reads 8 over t, where the value of t equals 4. So I'm going to take t out and replace it with 4. And 8 over 4 means 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Number 4, 9 plus m, where m is equal to 1.5. So if I take m out and I replace it with 1.5, it's 9 plus 1.5. I can do this mentally. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 0.5 is 10.5. 10 and 5 tenths. Number 5. I've got 1/2 w plus 2. All right, 1/2 right next to w means 1/2 times w plus 2. W is 1/9, so this is going to be 1/2 times 1/9, which is going to seem tricky for just a minute, but it's really not. Do you remember how to do this? It's real simple. You just do 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 9 is 18. It's 1/18. 1/2 times 1/9 is 1/18. So this right here is 1/18 plus 2, and this is easier than you think too. 1/18 plus 2 is 2 and 1/18. That's the answer, 2 and 1/18. Kind of funny looking problem, but easier than you might have suspected. All right, let's check out number 6. Number 6 is 5 parentheses 6.2 plus z, and I'm just going to immediately go find z right now and replace. I'm going to take this z out and put in 3.8 instead. So what do I do here? 5 right next to 6.2 means 5 times 6.2, but don't forget that in the order of operations we do the operations inside the parentheses first, PEMDAS, and the inside the parentheses would be the addition problem. So it's 6.2 plus 3.8. I happen to know that that's going to be 10. I can do that mentally. I'll show you why. And I'm providing a visual, but this is what I was doing in my head. I saw this 2/10 and this 8/10, and I know that it added up to 1 whole. And then 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, I get 10. So this adds up to 10, or 10.0, it's the same thing. And then right next to 5 means times 5. So this problem is simply 5 times 10 is 50. The answer is 50. All right, we're off to a good start. Let's move on. Number 7 reads, the table shows the prices for games in Bella's soccer league. Her parents and grandmother attended a soccer game. How much did they spend if they all went together in one car? So A says write an expression that represents the cost of one car full of non-student soccer fans. Use X as the number of people who rode in the car and attended the game. Blank is an expression that represents the cost of one car full of non-student soccer fans. So the parking is $5. But it's not like $5 per person, it's just one car. So we're going to take $5 and add it to, well, what are we going to add it to? I'm going to add that at the end, by the way. What are we going to add it to? Well, we're talking about non-students. And how much are the non-students? The non-students cost $12. So each non-student ticket costs $12. And then X is the number of people who went. So how much is that going to be? Well, it's going to be 12 times the number of people who went. It's going to be 12x. So the expression is 12x, that's the cost of the tickets, plus 5, that's the cost of the parking. It's 12x plus 5. That's what belongs on this line right here. 12x plus 5. Squeeze that in. That's the answer to A. And then B says, since there are 3 attendees, evaluate the expression for 12x plus 5 for x equals 3. Actually, they gave you the answer to A right here, 12x plus 5. Anyway, what we need to do is, we need to, remember up here how it said her parents, plural, and grandmother, singular, wanted to attend the game? Well, how many people is that? That's 3. That's where this 3 comes from. So what we do here is we replace the x with a 3, and that's going to go right here, by the way. And then we're going to add 5. Well, the tickets are going to be $12 times 3 people, that's 36. Plus the parking, 5 makes 41. The family spent $41 to attend the game. And that should make sense because they're $12 each, there's 3 people, 12 times 3 is 36, plus the $5 parking. It all adds up to 41. If you're getting stuck on like the expression part, I'm sorry about that. We're doing our best to work our way through this stuff. But I bet you understand, or I bet at least it makes sense about why the tickets cost $41, or why the tickets don't cost $41. Why the entire cost is $41 between the tickets and the parking. All right, let's check out number 8. Stan wants to add trim all around the edge of a rectangular tablecloth that measures 5 feet long by 7 feet wide. Boy, right off the bat, I like a picture. I don't know about you, but if I were you, I would draw a picture. This is the tablecloth, and it's 5 feet long by 7 feet wide, and he wants to add trim all around it. It says the perimeter of the rectangular tablecloth is twice the length added to twice the width. How much trim does Stan need to buy? A says write an expression that represents the perimeter of the rectangular tablecloth. Let L represent the length of the tablecloth and W represent its width. The expression would be, well, it says up here that you're going to do twice the length and twice the width. And let's see about why that makes sense. Let's go where it says there. The perimeter is the twice the length added to twice the width. Well, why would you twice the length? Well, because how many sides are there that are 5? 1, 2. And why would you do twice the width? Well, how many sides are there that are 7? 1, 2. Well, that's why it's 2 times the length and 2 times the width. So the expression would be 2 times the width, 2 times the width, plus, it says added to, 2 times the length. And when you do an L in, an L in algebra, you want to do a cursive L, because what would it look like if I just did like an L like that? It looks like 21. So make sure it looks like an L, not a 1. Anyway, that would get us the answer. And then for B, we're going to evaluate the expression by plugging in 5 and 7. So the width is 5. So right here where it says 2 times W, I'm going to change that to 2 times 5. And that's going to be just 5 times 2. That's 10. That's easy. And then for L, I'm going to change that to 7. And I guess they probably wanted it. I don't think it matters, but it doesn't matter. But I think they wanted us to do 7 first. The width is 7 and the length is 5. Either way, it doesn't matter. So see this 14 right here? They did this one for you. This right here, 2 next to 7, means 2 times 7. They gave you 14. You have to do this one, which is 2 times 5. That's 10. And the entire perimeter is going to be 24. And that should make sense. 24 feet. You can do FT for feet, 24 feet. And that should make sense, because if you add these up, what's 5 plus 7? That's 12. 5 plus 7 is 12 more. If you add them all up, you get 24. This is just the formulaic way of doing it. All right, sweet. Move on. Essential question number 9. Whoa, I just skipped a whole bunch of pages on accident. Essential question number 9. How do you know the correct order in which to evaluate algebraic expressions? Well, it's called follow the order of operations. And we're going to review what those are real quick. And we don't have to write them all down, because that would be too time consuming. But the order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. That's it. Follow the order of operations. Okay, good job. You are done with page 272.